If I told you that combining two ordinary ingredients you probably have in your kitchen right now could dramatically impact your blood pressure, cholesterol, inflammation, energy, and even your memory in just 1 week, would you believe me? What if I also told you that the science behind it is surprisingly solid, and yet almost no one talks about it the right way? Garlic and apple cider vinegar. You've heard about them separately, but together after just 7 days, what really happens inside your body? And why are some experts calling this combo a natural longevity activator? Stay with me, because the truth behind this simple habit might surprise you. And before we get into it, make sure you subscribe, especially if you're looking for smart, simple ways to take control of your health, feel stronger, and stay sharp as the years go by. Let's jump in. The first thing you're probably wondering is, how can something as basic as garlic and apple cider vinegar do anything significant in just a week? That's where it gets interesting. It's not about magic. It's about how these two ingredients interact with some of the deepest systems in your body, especially the ones most people never think about until something goes wrong. And to really understand the effect, we've got to look at what starts happening within just hours of taking your first dose. Let's start with garlic. This tiny bulb isn't just a flavorful addition to your pasta. It's packed with compounds that affect your body on a cellular level. One of the most studied compounds is allicin, a sulfur compound that forms when garlic is crushed or chopped. The reason this matters is because allicin acts almost like a signaling molecule. It tells your blood vessels to relax. It signals immune responses to cool down when inflammation runs wild. And it starts dialing back something called oxidative stress, tiny chemical reactions that quietly age your cells and damage your DNA. Within the first 24 hours of consuming raw or properly prepared garlic, especially when paired with apple cider vinegar, your blood vessels begin to respond. Many people report a sense of warmth in their extremities, clearer thinking, even a shift in energy. That's not coincidence. It's circulation. Allicin helps increase the availability of nitric oxide, a gas that makes your blood vessels more elastic. That means easier blood flow, lower pressure, and more oxygen reaching your brain and muscles. Now, add apple cider vinegar to that mix. It's acidic, yes, but once it enters your body, it has an alkalizing effect. More importantly, it contains acetic acid, which plays a critical role in blood sugar regulation. And this is where the combo really shines. Because if garlic is handling your circulation and inflammation, apple cider vinegar is working quietly in the background to balance insulin and help your cells respond better to the food you eat. By day 2 or 3, you may start noticing less bloating. That's not in your head. Both garlic and ACV influence digestion. Garlic boosts bile flow from the liver, which helps break down fats and toxins. Apple cider vinegar, taken before meals, slows down the emptying of your stomach. That gives your digestive system more time to process nutrients. The result? Fewer spikes in blood sugar, less gas and discomfort, and even better nutrient absorption. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. By day 4, your gut bacteria start changing. Why? Because both garlic and vinegar are natural prebiotics. They feed the good bacteria in your intestines, creating a more balanced gut microbiome. And when your microbiome shifts, everything else does too. You might feel mentally clearer because 90% of your serotonin, your feel-good hormone, is produced in the gut. You might notice fewer cravings, more stable moods, or even a lighter feeling overall. Now, this raises a powerful question. If something as simple as garlic and vinegar can influence your gut bacteria so quickly, what else might it be changing? And here's the answer that surprised researchers in a few key studies: your cholesterol. In clinical trials, regular intake of garlic over just a few days to weeks has shown a measurable reduction in LDL, what's often called bad cholesterol. At the same time, it supports HDL, your good cholesterol. Apple cider vinegar enhances this effect by increasing bile excretion, which carries excess cholesterol out of the body. Within 7 days, early shifts begin. And while full changes in cholesterol numbers usually take weeks to show up on a lab test, the foundational processes start almost immediately. But even if heart health and cholesterol don't grab your attention, this next benefit just might. Because by the end of day 5 or 6, something subtle but powerful can happen in your immune system. Garlic contains compounds that activate natural killer cells, your body's frontline defense against viruses and abnormal cells. Think of it like your body's built-in security system being dialed up a notch. At the same time, the acetic acid. In apple cider, vinegar has mild antibacterial properties that can help suppress bad bacteria, especially in the gut and urinary tract. And when your immune system is less burdened by constant low-grade threats, you feel it. You sleep better. You recover faster. You might even notice fewer sniffles, clearer sinuses, and better breath. Still with me? Good, because there's something else happening here that's easy to overlook. Garlic, believe it or not, affects your blood in a more literal way. Some research suggests that it can help prevent the clumping of platelets, those tiny fragments in your blood responsible for clotting. That means garlic may support better blood flow, especially in older adults at risk of cardiovascular events. When combined with the blood pressure lowering effect of allicin, and the blood sugar balancing power of vinegar, the overall result is a cardiovascular system that's more efficient, more resilient, and less inflamed. But all of that leads to one more question. Why do some people feel dramatically better, while others notice very little? And here's the key: timing, quality, and consistency. Fresh garlic needs to be crushed and allowed to sit for about 10 minutes to maximize allicin production. Cooking it right away destroys that compound. As for apple cider vinegar, it must be raw and unfiltered, ideally with the mother, those strands of protein and beneficial bacteria you see floating inside. Most store-bought vinegars are pasteurized, killing the very compounds that make them effective. Taken together, ideally in the morning before breakfast or diluted in water before meals, this combination creates a cascade of biochemical effects that build upon each other every single day. It's not just about what each ingredient does individually, it's about the synergy they create. By day 7, people often report something surprising: more mental clarity. And that makes sense. You've improved blood flow to the brain. You've reduced inflammation. You've helped balance blood sugar and stabilized gut bacteria. All of these impact neurotransmitters and brain function. Some even say their memory feels sharper or their focus lasts longer. If you're over 50 and your joints ache when you get out of bed, go upstairs or just try to enjoy a walk. It's not your age, and it's not your fault. The real issue? Your body's running out of a natural substance that cushions your joints like a shock absorber. And most supplements out there, glucosamine, collagen, all of it, don't fix this. But now, researchers have discovered a breakthrough that can actually restore what your joints are missing. And people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s are seeing real relief. If you're feeling stiff, sore, or weaker lately, stop guessing. Check the link in the pinned comment now. Great, let's dive right into part 2, because what happens beyond the first 7 days is where this combination really starts to reveal its deeper potential. By the end of week 1, your body has already begun to shift. Circulation is improving, inflammation is dialing down, blood sugar swings are less dramatic. But what happens if you keep going for 2 weeks, 3, or longer? That's where things get even more interesting, especially if you're over 50, managing chronic conditions, or simply want to protect your brain, heart, and energy for the long haul. Let's pick up with something we hinted at earlier: longevity. In recent years, researchers have started uncovering how chronic, low-grade inflammation, often called inflammaging, plays a central role in almost every disease of aging. From arthritis to heart disease, from cognitive decline to metabolic syndrome, inflammation is a silent accelerator. But here's the good news. The compounds in garlic and raw apple cider vinegar directly interfere with the very signals that drive this kind of inflammation. For example, garlic contains diallyl disulfide and S-allylcysteine, 2 molecules shown to suppress pro-inflammatory cytokines. That might sound technical, but here's the translation: less joint pain, improved circulation, and a calmer immune system that's not constantly attacking itself. And when your inflammation comes down, so does your risk for things like atherosclerosis, plaque buildup in the arteries, which is still the #1 cause of death in the United States. Now, let's talk about something a little unexpected: detoxification. It's a word that gets thrown around a lot, often with little meaning. But in your body, detox isn't about drinking green juices. It's about what your liver and kidneys are doing 24/7. Garlic contains sulfur compounds that help activate phase 2 liver enzymes. These enzymes are crucial for transforming toxins into harmless forms your body can excrete. Apple cider vinegar, on the other hand, supports this process, indirectly by improving insulin sensitivity and reducing the burden of metabolic waste. And while we're talking about the liver, here's a question that many don't think to ask. Can garlic and vinegar help with fatty liver disease, which affects over 100 million Americans? The answer is cautiously promising. Studies have shown that both garlic and vinegar can help reduce fat accumulation in the liver by improving lipid metabolism. That means better cholesterol ratios, less liver inflammation, and a stronger overall metabolic profile. But let's come back to something a little more immediate: energy. People often say they feel more energized after a week or two on this regimen. That's not just in their heads. It's because when you stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, and support mitochondrial function, the little powerhouses inside your cells, you generate more ATP. That's the molecule your body uses for energy. And when your cells are functioning better, your entire system runs smoother. Here's a real-world example. Imagine waking up in the morning and not feeling like you need 3 cups of coffee to get moving. Imagine going through the day without that afternoon crash. That's the power of metabolic balance. And this garlic-vinegar combo, taken consistently, creates a foundation for that kind of stability. Now here's where things get even more fascinating: the effect on memory and cognitive performance. Brain fog is one of the most common complaints among people over 40. It's often blamed on age, but the real culprits are often poor blood flow, high inflammation, and insulin resistance. Yes, in the brain. Garlic and vinegar each counter these in different ways. Garlic improves circulation and may increase the production of neurotrophic factors, proteins that support brain cell growth. Apple cider vinegar helps reduce blood sugar spikes that can impair memory formation. When used together, especially before meals, they help maintain a steady supply of glucose to the brain without overwhelming it, supporting clarity, focus, and long-term protection. And this brings us to a topic many avoid talking about until it's too late: blood pressure. One of the earliest signs of vascular aging is elevated blood pressure. And according to research published in respected journals like the Journal of Nutrition, regular garlic supplementation can significantly reduce both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, particularly in those with hypertension. The allicin in garlic relaxes blood vessels and improves endothelial function, the inner lining of your arteries. Vinegar enhances this effect by improving nitric oxide availability and promoting electrolyte balance. So the question becomes, what if this isn't just a short-term fix? What if this combination can be part of a long-term strategy to avoid medication? Let's be clear, no food is a replacement for necessary medication prescribed by a doctor. But for many people, small, consistent changes in diet and lifestyle can delay the need for medication or reduce dosages under medical supervision. And what's powerful about garlic and vinegar is that they're safe, affordable, and easy to integrate into any meal routine. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but is it really safe for everyone? And the answer is mostly yes, with a few important exceptions. People on blood-thinning medications should consult their doctor before taking garlic in high amounts because it can amplify the effect. The same goes for those with ulcers or sensitive stomachs when it comes to vinegar, especially if it's taken undiluted. But for the vast majority of healthy adults, particularly those over 50 looking to take proactive steps, this combination is remarkably gentle and effective. Another question people often ask is how to take it. Do you need to eat raw garlic cloves and drink straight vinegar? Not exactly. The most effective approach is to crush or finely chop 1 or 2 garlic cloves, let them sit for 10 minutes. This activates allicin, and then mix with a tablespoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar in a glass of water. Drink it before a meal, once or twice a day. That's it. No pills, no expensive supplements, just whole foods doing what they were designed to do. Over time, what you'll likely notice is not just the absence of symptoms, but the presence of vitality. less puffiness in the face, fewer sugar cravings, better bowel movements, more steady energy throughout the day, and perhaps most importantly, a sense of confidence that you're doing something good for your body, something that builds up over time. And that confidence matters, because one of the hardest parts of staying healthy as we age isn't just fighting illness, it's keeping the motivation to do the little things consistently. Garlic and vinegar offer a visible, tangible return on effort. You feel it, and that feeling creates momentum. And when you have momentum, you make better food choices. You move more, you sleep better, and everything starts to build on itself. So after all this, what's the takeaway? It's simple. Don't underestimate the power of what seems small. Garlic and apple cider vinegar aren't trendy. They're not exotic. They're not expensive, but they work. And not just because of one miracle compound, but because of the hundreds of tiny interactions they trigger inside your body. Interactions that, over time, support the very systems that keep you alive: circulation, immunity, digestion, detoxification, blood sugar, cholesterol, brain function, energy. These are the pillars of health. And these two ingredients happen to touch all of them. So the real question is, if you could make one tiny change that improves 8 systems in your body, why wouldn't you? And if you found this helpful, don't stop here. Tap on the video. Showing now on your screen, it's packed with even more simple health habits that deliver massive impact. You've already taken the first step. Let's keep going.